One of my favorite things to do when I go to my local lumber yard is to look in their scrap wood bin to see if they have any catches that I can maybe build something with. I found 5 perfectly cut drawer slides, so I figured why not try and make a drawer with this? Then when I was figuring out what I can actually do with this drawer, I came up with the perfect thing I actually can make for this. It's a drawer inside of a drawer, so pretty much a cabinet with a drawer. And building it seems very straightforward. The first thing I have to do is figure out how big I want to build this drawer. And from the pieces that I have, these are 24 inches, so it has to be less than that, so I was aiming around 23 inches. And once I figure out how big I want to build this drawer, it's just cutting down my plywood to length, then I can work on the next step of building the drawer inside of a drawer. You'll see what I mean in a second. So right now I have the plans laid out for the drawer box that I want to build. I ended up measuring the stick that I had here, and I thought it was a bit longer, but unfortunately it's only about 17.5 inches. So what I'll actually do now is I'm going to cut this down to 16 inches and then revise the plan to make sure that this is adjusted for 16 inches. And it should end up looking something along the line of this. So I finished actually doing the revisions to the drawer box. It's a little bit smaller than I wanted, but it's still going to get the job done. And this is actually the first time I'm using a table saw for a complete build. And I did a tune-up video on how to set up a table saw, make sure all the cuts are straight. The video might come out in the future, so stay tuned for that one. But let's cut this plywood up and get started on this drawer box. All my pieces are cut. I have them all over here. I just made one quick mistake. There were 2 sides to the drawers. One was 13 inches, the other one was 16. And unfortunately, I cut the 13-inch drawer in half. So what I'm gonna do is, actually there's a happy accident. I have the strip of walnut that I cut off from that board. I'm gonna glue them together, so it's gonna have a little accent side. Just make sure I have them both the same distance, so it's sort of like a little strip. So we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna glue it overnight and then finish on this. So this is where the drawer build stands right now. I've actually changed the design to have a bigger base for the walnut. It's definitely not better than the design I had initially. I just ended up cutting one of my scrap pieces of walnut and fit it in. And now the top stretches is actually the same as this side. They're both 3/4 inch. And the side that I messed up on actually turned out pretty well. I sanded it down a little bit, but I got a strip on the side. I'm not gonna do it to the other side, so it'll just be a happy little accident. And now the next thing I have to do is just route in the channels for the sides of these drawers. And the top one as well, it might be a bit tricky just because of the size of it, but let's get to that and then put this back panel in, and then at least I'll have the top part of the drawer done. Okay, the routing turned out very well. This little small piece was very tricky to route. I'll show you what it looks like, but I was afraid it was going to split through it. Everything's held together now with the grooves. I have the bottom plate in. Now we just have to drill out the holes for the pocket holes, insert some screws into this drawer. And once that's done, at least this drawer is going to be done. The next is building the drawer inside a drawer, and that's using this walnut face frame there. First, let's do this drawer so I can get started on the other drawer. Drawer inside of a drawer. Finishing this drawer took way longer than I expected. I actually managed to glue everything together. Well, this part's only glued. These are screwed in by pocket holes. You can see from the holes right there. So it's gonna be the same thing, same methods. Finding out the length of the drawer, building out the drawer, cutting it all down to length and putting the pocket holes. And then once that drawer is done, I can fit this in, put in the drawer slides, and then we're almost close to finishing this build. So the sides of the drawer were cut the exact same ways as the larger ones. I cut them down to size, making sure they fit inside my drawer box. And then, next thing I have to do is just cut out the bottom panel to put inside these drawers. Now the bottom panel I put in actually did not fit. I don't know how I made that mistake. So I took out the table saw and recut another piece, hoping this time this piece would actually fit. And this time it did fit, so I think this is well deserving of a thumbs up. Now that's the second drawer that I have finished. You saw the little mistake that I made. I actually cut the bottom of the drawer way too short. No clue how I did that, but luckily I had some spare pieces on the side. I was able to finish this drawer. Now all we do is attach the drawer slides to this drawer and the base there. And I'll show you the trick that I use to attach on the drawer slides. So I have everything upside down right now, and what I did before I built this drawer is I actually had these two slides side by side, and then I took my measuring tape and I measured out the distance from the slide to this wall, and that's actually the size I made for the drawer I have here. So what I ended up doing is actually building this upside down by cutting in a 2-inch spacer block and putting the drawer slide on that. And with this, I was able to register where exactly I want to put in the drawer slides. I measured it 3/4 of an inch off the front, just so I could put in the walnut face frame and everything will be flush, or actually have a little bit of a gap in between. Now comes everyone's favorite part, and test fitting your drawer to see if it fits. And actually, cutting it a little bit too small made it a bit hard to stick in. It still slides in perfectly in and out, so I just have to adjust it based off of that. Now putting it on the face frame is the last thing I have to do for this drawer. And when that's done, I can put this drawer inside the other drawer and pretty much make a cabinet. Now the drawer is pretty much all done. I put in the drawer slides, put the walnut front face on. It slides in, it slides out, and I have a little 8-inch reveal on the sides. For fun, I thought, why not try using edge banding for the first time? So I'll be putting some edge banding on these exposed plywood edges, just to make sure it looks nice and pretty. So I'm gonna put this on, then I can call this drawer inside of a drawer pretty much just a cabinet, all complete. So I'm nearing the end of this build, and this is actually the first time I ended up putting handles inside of my build, and this is actually just practice for when I do it for my cabinets, and it actually turned out better than I thought. But now with these handles installed, I finally have my drawer box built. And with that, the mini drawer is now complete. Well, the drawer inside the drawer. If you have any ideas what I can do for the next build, let me know down in the comments. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.